First, I'm gonna start off by saying I don't even have a Tinder or a Bumble. It's crazy. It's crazy. You want to know why? Because somebody reported me. Now, how I get banned? See, that's the $1 million question. I don't know how I got banned. I just went on one day and realized my account said banned. Now, I don't do nothing crazy. I don't talk crazy. I don't be like soliciting. I don't be trying to send photos or asking for photos. I don't even think you can do that on the app. But I don't even talk dirty. I don't talk freaky. I don't talk nasty. I'm nice. I'm sweet. I be trying to get to know people, asking them how their day is going. You know what I mean? What they doing this weekend. Like, I ask the most basic, well, I don't ask basic questions. You know what I mean? Because I got a little style, It'll be super basic, but I don't ask nothing that's crazy. A little flirt here and there, but I never understood why I was banned, why I was getting reported. And then it dawned on me. I had this girl that I was cool with. She told me about this little Facebook page called Are We Dating the Same Guy? She told me I popped up on there a few times and they were talking about me in the comments. I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Little chicas fighting over me. I ain't got no problem with that. But what I started to think was I felt like these girls were being territorial. Like, if I was talking to a girl, I think whoever I was talking to in both of those situations on Tinder and Hinge, I think whoever I was talking to reported me so I couldn't talk to other girls. I couldn't talk to other women, which is crazy, like crazy selfish. Like, we aren't dating. Like, we're talking. But you still got to expect me to be talking to other people, just like I expect you to be talking to other people. So why report me? It's just selfish, very selfish, super selfish. Because now I can't get on those apps. I ain't been on Tinder in like 3 years. That's how long it's been. Hinge has been like a year and a half. I'm stuck with Bumble and I'm stuck with Facebook dating. And I ain't gonna lie though, Facebook dating is kind of fire. I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of fire. I don't know. I feel like the women there are just more communicative. Maybe they talk more. I don't know. Like they give you a little bit more besides 3 responses. I'm not gonna get on women because I'd be doing the same thing. Sometimes you get to talking to people and really not be interested in them. So I don't know. Maybe you get caught in the swiping and you think somebody may be fire off their first picture. And then when you actually match with them and you start scrolling down, you realize like, she ain't really my type. Or you just need more pictures to create an overall thought about a person. And when you're swiping, I don't all the time go through all their pictures. Your first picture is really the lasting picture. So I'm usually swiping based off of the first picture. And sometimes that first picture does not tell the whole story. I'm telling you, man, y'all got to stay. There's some rules that you got to live by. Or I guess you would think as like red flags, especially if you're a guy. So as a guy, first of all, red flag is if you got nothing but them shoulder up pictures. Nah, that's a problem. That's a problem. I need to see what your body look like. Now, you ain't got to be a supermodel and you don't have to be the thickest girl I ever seen, but I need to see your body. I got to see what I'm working with. Because a lot of these girls, they be slim in the face. They'll look fire in the face. And then the body just tells a whole different story. And you don't be knowing that until you show up to dinner with them. You show up to dinner with them, you like, bro, your face does not match your body. Does not match your body. And I don't mean like the girl's bigger. I mean, she could be super skinny and not have anybody, So it goes both ways. Me, I'm black. We like our women a little curvaceous. I like a little bit of curves, you know. Um, so I typically like to lean towards women that got a little bit of curves to them. Usually you can find that in Latin cultures and African American culture, but you're starting to see a little bit more prevalent in Caucasian culture. But you typically don't see that in the white girls. If you see that in a white girl, it's a rarity. You lucking up. You got one. But I'm somebody who likes women in all different ethnicities, all different colors, all different shades. I don't discriminate. I would say I do have a preference, but I don't discriminate. You can have a preference, but doesn't mean that I have to end up with that preference. I can be fine with something outside of my preference because looks and all that isn't everything. If I find a girl that's outside of my preference, but she has a banging personality, like she's so cool, down to earth, we, get together. I mean, not get together, but we have a lot in common. The chemistry's there, we're vibrating on the same frequency. Then I can bypass my preferences. So I don't know, man. This dating world is crazy. It is crazy. Like, see, I was in a 7-year relationship. So I missed a lot of the times changing because before I was in that 7-year relationship, the dating world was different. Like, I don't know, man. It wasn't so much of the apps. In that world, there wasn't so many apps. I'm talking like from 2014. I think Tinder was just coming around in 2014. Bumble didn't exist. Hinge didn't exist. There was only the legacy companies like OK Cupid and Plenty of Fish and you know what I mean, and the other ones that usually people my age weren't buying. Like, I don't know, like what are those? What are those? The old ones. I can't think of the names of them. But you know what I mean. The ones for the like 40-year-olds. I forgot what they're called. But at that time, 2014, 2013 and stuff, we still, seeing girls, picking up girls in person. We going to the bar or we, chopping it up with a girl at the grocery store or seeing a girl at the library. We still doing things in person. And I think dating apps have just changed like everything. Just, it's weird because social media is supposed to make you more social, but it's made people more antisocial. Um, it's also giving you unlimited choices. So because you have so many choices, it makes it hard for you to choose somebody. Because if you spot any little thing wrong with this person that you're talking to you're like, okay, fine. There's another girl who's waiting to holler at me. Especially if you somebody that has decent looks. Women always got a ton of men in their inbox. Men, we don't have that. We don't have what women have. We don't have a whole bunch of women jumping in our DMs unless we're a Chad. You know what I mean? Unless we got them looks. And I always thought that I wasn't like a Chad. But like the more and more I hear like other men's like stories and what the dating is like for them, I'm starting to think I have a lot more options than a lot of other men out here. Um, good thing. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm the ugliest dude. I wouldn't say I'm Brad Pitt or Idris Elba, but I do my thing. I look good. I got a great body. You know what I mean? I'm in shape, physical, 6'2", 220. You know what I mean? I'm fit, strong, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a Chad. I ain't never saw myself like that. Never. Maybe because I'm my hardest critic. You're always your worst critic. I mean, even pretty girls that are tens, they are hard on themselves. So, but the more I really start to see a man's perspective, the more I understand that I do have a little bit more options because I don't struggle that hard, at least to get, I guess you would say, like women, like to get women interested that, want to talk to me, want to date me, want to go out with me. I don't struggle so much in that. I struggle more in, I guess, the things that I look for in a woman. That's what makes my, I guess, search a little harder. Finding a woman that knows what she wants, finding a woman that's healed or in the process of healing. Also finding a woman who's somewhat active because I live an active life, like fitness wise. I like women that are, I guess, a little bit more ambitious, aren't okay with mediocre in life, are always trying to better themselves. I look for that in women. And when you start having all these boxes that you need to be checked, it makes your search harder and harder. So I look to bring that down. I'm trying to bring down all these things that I'm looking for in a woman. What are the core things that I need? What am I willing to sacrifice on that list? Because I'm pigeonholing myself. Like, I'm never gonna find a woman who checks all these boxes. So, what are the main core ones that are important to me as it pertains to a partner? And when I look at it from that aspect, I definitely want a woman who would be a good mother. That's probably number one. I want a woman that could be able to handle things if I'm not there, if I'm gone, if I'm doing business or something like that. I work because I'm in the business world. I work in the aerospace industry. Um, I deal with contracts, but I want a woman that can handle things if I'm not around, that can get things done. So that would require a woman that has a little bit of get up and go and a little bit of intelligence to her. So I think that's highly important to me. Good mother, a woman with some intelligence, and that kind of like third one, man. To me, it would have to be a woman that's loyal. I come from street environment. I come from the streets. So I in the streets is all loyalty. You know what I mean? Like, the foundation of your friendship with the people you choose to be around is it's all loyalty. I'm friends with the people I'm friends with today because they're loyal to me. They have my back. I know they'll ride for me and I'll ride for them. That's why my circle's small, because you can't find that quality in everybody. So it being hard to find in friends, it's going to be hard to find in a partner. And a lot of these things are hard to know until you face a situation. Like, it's hard to know whether somebody's loyal or not until a situation arises where their loyalty is going to be in question, you know? Um, and I like to say I've always been a good picker of women. I haven't been in a ton of relationships. I've dated a lot of women. I've had a few years out of my life that were bachelor years, where where I was doing my thing, running point, and shooting guard. But pretty much my relationships have been to a minimum. I had a girlfriend, first girlfriend when I was in eighth grade. All of high school, I was pretty much single, doing my thing until like senior year. Then I had a girlfriend. When I went into college, my first 2 years of college, I was single. There was a couple girls that I was kind of dating and talking to, but they weren't necessarily my girlfriends. Then I met a girl like my sophomore year, and we dated the rest of my college into my adulthood and everything. That was my 7-year relationship. So when you really look at it, I only really have like three real certified relationships, and those are the only three women that have met my parents. I don't bring anybody to my parents. You gotta be at a certain standard, man. Even if I dealt with the little hoochie mamas, they couldn't meet my parents because they're what they think matters to me, and I ain't gonna just bring anything around them. So I I don't know. I'm at a stage in my life where after I got out of that relationship, I'm back in the streets. I'm doing my thing. I am, glad to be talking to women again. Because before getting in a relationship, I was somebody who loved to chase. I love like romancing a woman, like getting a woman's attention, romancing her, getting her to like me. The chase thing. I love that. Getting out of a relationship, I had to gain those abilities again, like because I had lost them being in a relationship so long. You lose that confidence, you lose that ability to like speak fluidly to a girl without looking nervous and being flustered and all that. So I had to gain that back, and it was fun for a while. But then I think I really missed companionship. I think I loved companionship. I thrived off companionship. I like just chilling with my woman at home, or watching the shows that we like to watch, or making dinner together because I like to cook. I'm a cook, so I miss that kind of stuff. And my way of showing love, one of my ways of expressing love is through cooking. Like that's a love language for me. It's a love language that I like to express. So technically it's not my personal love language, but it's something. If I love you, I'll express my love for you doing things like that, like cooking for you. And I kind of like miss that because when it's just myself, man, I'm so basic with food. I don't need a whole lot. I eat pretty much the same thing over and over. I'm a person who counts calories, count my macros. So I'm eating really more strategically than I'm eating to enjoy the food. I'm eating to get protein, and I'm eating to get a certain amount of carbs, a certain amount of fats in. So it's more strategic than it is me enjoying the food. Now, I do make food where it's macro friendly and it's still good. I'll make alternative versions of pasta, alternative versions of pizza, taco bowls, quesadillas, just using low carb, low calorie type products, low calorie bread, keto bread. And it's still just as good, but it's more strategic. I miss cooking like for a woman. I miss chilling with a woman. I miss like going to the movies. I love the movies. So I'd be at the movies all the time. And I miss doing that with a woman. I miss doing that with somebody. Even though I have gotten used to doing it on my own. That's one thing. That's one thing for my men and women out there. Like, I know it can be scary to do things by yourself, but just do it. Like, the things that you love to do, go do them solo. Because I promise you, you would think there may be things that you can only do with somebody else, but you'll come to find out that you can find that same enjoyment going alone. Like I'll go to the movies alone and I still get the same enjoyment as I do when I go with somebody. To me, it's more therapeutic. It's peace. I go there to relax. Nobody bother me. I just want my popcorn and my drink and a good movie. I don't need to be bothered. So I have found love in that. Even like right now, I'm going to a concert tomorrow, classical music. I love classical music. It's Hans Zimmer, one of the best, one of the best composers of classical music in the world. I'm excited to go to that, and I'm going solo. It'd be my first concert going to by myself. I don't get a lot of opportunities to see him, and I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna pass up on this. So I'm going solo dolo. It's my first time, but I'm not gonna miss the experience just because I don't have anybody with me. I love comedy shows, stand-up comedy. I do that by myself. So learn to love life by yourself. Don't feel like you need somebody to go to these things or to continue to enjoy the things that you're passionate about or the things that you love. You can still find that same love there doing it solo dolo. Um, but yeah, so I'm at a stage in my life now after being single for so long. I realized that I miss companionship, and that's kind of what I want again. So I'm at a different stage in my life though now. I'm older. I healed from my issues in the past, whatever they were. My brother was killed, and when I was 18, so there was a lot of trauma that I hadn't dealt with. From that, I've dealt with that. I've gotten closer to God. I got another channel where I pretty much preach the word. So I'm a healed individual. Now the things I'm still working on, yes. Like I'm still working on um being a little bit nicer. Sometimes I say things bluntly without really thinking about how it's gonna make that person feel. Sometimes it's not all about the message, but it's how you deliver it. So there's still things that I'm working on. So as I want somebody who's healing, they don't need to be healed. They just need to be in a process, or still in the process of working on themselves. Like, I've healed from any past issues, but I'm still working on myself. That doesn't end. Like, you're always a student. That working on yourself, self-development, self-help, continuous improvement, that doesn't end. That's never something that ends in life. The moment you stop learning is the moment you die. So I'm always in a state of learning. But I'm at a point where I only want somebody who's in a similar stage as I. And it's hard to find those kind of people. It's hard to find those kind of women that are mature, that know what they want, that may be ready for a family, that have healed, that are continuously working on themselves, that have a stable career, like that don't need to be like a passenger princess, don't need to be baby. Like, they're a grown woman. Like, you don't need to tell a man to baby you, because the right man will baby you if he loves you like that. You'll never have to tell him to do that. If he doesn't do that already, it's because he doesn't feel that way towards you. He doesn't have that affection towards you in that kind of way. That thing comes natural to us to take care. We're providers, we're protectors. And for the women that we care about, the people that we care about, will do that without needing to be prompted. So finding that kind of woman has just been difficult, man. It's been a process. It's been a process. And, I think about my parents a lot. Like, I want to give them grandchildren, all that kind of stuff. So, and they be putting that pressure on me. When we gonna get some grandbabies? They at a stage where they want grandchildren. They in their 60s. I can understand. But I ain't gonna just settle for anybody. Boy, I am not gonna... excuse my language, y'all. I'm educated, but I get into my slang sometimes. I am not gonna be just getting any little mama out here pregnant. No, I'm not dealing with that, yo. I'm not dealing with that for years. Having to deal with a chick for 18 years that I despise? Nah, I'm not doing that. I gotta like little mama. I gotta really like her. Like, we gotta be clicking on all cylinders. Like, before I think about doing that, I'm telling you, bro, and the pullout game is strong. Trust me, I ain't one of those ones who be slipping like, oh, I couldn't hold on. I'm not that person, yo. Pimpin is strong. Pullout game is strong. But yeah, just finding that woman has taken some time. So I'm trying to be patient and allow God to do his thing. It's on God's timing. I sometimes we confuse our timing with his timing, and his timing is never our timing. And though women, they face a biological clock, I definitely don't want to be no old ass daddy. I ain't trying to be 40 and somebody's father. Like, well, yes, 40 while being somebody's father, but I don't want to be bringing a new baby in the world at 40. You know what I mean? Or anything like, even though I'm not near 40, I'm not close to 40. But, I just be thinking about it. So we do got a little clock on us. A little clock. Because when I hit 40, yo, I ain't having no children. So whatever children I have, they better come before 40. Because at 40, I ain't doing no newborns. I'm not doing all that. 40 is that's time period of my life where I done made me a little bit of bread, made me a little bit of money. I'm trying to really enjoy life at 40, maybe start a business, so I don't know, man. Where the good women at? Where are they at? I don't go to the club. And then the thing is, I be so busy, like busy with work, busy with projects. Like I said, I got another channel. I make videos on there. So I be busy, and I don't go to the club, though. I definitely ain't gonna meet my wife at the club. So where do you meet them? Like, I don't know. I did holler at a girl at Walmart the other day. She was cool. Um, you know, but do I want the girl working at Walmart? I don't even know how old she was. For all I know, she could have been like 18 or God forbid younger than that. Because you know the girls today, they be looking like they 23 when they really be 17. Like that's why you gotta check IDs today, man. Even in the clubs, you got before you holler at a girl, before you take her home, check the ID. Like, yo, how old are you? You gotta ask that. You gotta ask that. Cause I done it before, and you'll be surprised how many girls are in there that ain't at the age limit. Um, so yeah, man, I would like to find a woman in the real world, out in actual reality, and not online. Because for all the years I've been trying to meet a girl from a dating app, it's never worked. Never worked. Never worked. I mean, I may date them. I've had some casual relationships, but anything serious? No, no. Even the girls, like I thought, or the women, let me stop calling them girls. Even the women that I thought about, that I'm like, oh, this is like, I see potential in her. Like, some of them, like, be crazy. Like, they be crazy. Some of these girls be crazy. And like I said, there's certain things that are red flags. Like, if once a girl hits 30, a girl being single in her 30s is kind of a red flag. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of a red flag. Why are you single at 30? What about you did these other men not like not liking you? Now, you know, I mean, it varies depending on the person. Nobody's situation is the same. Some women were in a long-term relationship and they just happen to become single at 30. But if it's a girl who's in her 30s and she talking about she been single for like 5 years, bro, that is a red flag. That is a red flag. Stay away from those. Stay away from the girls that have, okay, stay away from the women that have been single for 5 years. Stay away from the women that got like newborn children, unless you feel like taking care of a newborn or dealing with a newborn or not being able to do things because she has a newborn. Stay away from those. You got to give yourself an age range. Like children under 3 are a no-go. And what else? Not gonna lie, women that have been married before, that's kind of a red flag. The thing is that it's just a whole lot of baggage that comes with those type of women that come from situations like that. Just a ton of baggage. Like, and they already have their own perception of men. They'll start taking things from their past relationships and start assimilating them into the relationship they got with you. Like, they start doing things and acting certain ways because they start confusing you with their ex. Like, I'm a whole different man. I'm a whole different guy. Like, you can't you can't treat me like I'm your ex. My slate should be clean. And, you know, the same thing for men as it pertains to women. Like, you gotta treat people differently. You got to treat them with a new slate because they're not the same as the person you were previously dating. You know, so it's just difficult dating women in their 30s. And you know, as a man, to be honest, I don't want to necessarily say like grooming, but it'd probably be better to meet a woman who's younger, maybe mid 25s, mid 25s, mid 20s, because you can shape them a little bit. Um, Women that are in their 30s, like you can't really shape them to fit you. Women in their 20s, you can kind of shape them to fit you, you know, the kind of things you like, the things you want out of a woman. Women in their 30s, they got their own like way they operate. Like it'll be hard to convert them into, it'd be hard to shape them into the type of woman that you like or the type of woman that you want as a support system. Um, you know, I'm not necessarily talking about like control or grooming or anything like that, but just it's different. You know, it's different. It's a different animal dating somebody who's in their 40s and 30s versus dating somebody in their 20s. Because they also respect you more in the 20s. 30s, like, I don't need no man. I've been doing this solo dolo. I've been raising my kids alone. You know, they come with their own like headaches, and they act like they don't need you. And it's like, okay, I'm not gonna argue with you. Like, you can't tell them anything. Like, they think they know everything. And I don't want to generalize. I'm not saying that every woman is like that in their 30s and 40s, but a lot of them are. You come across more that are that than aren't. Um, so this dating world is different. It's different from what I remember. And I'm still trying to get used to it. Still trying to figure out how to operate in it. Still trying to find the woman that fits me in this dating world today. Um, hopefully, with time, I meet her. Because I do, you can kind of be a little pessimistic about things and think that, hey, I'm just done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm better off alone. It's easy to get like that when you have, went through, multiple girls from dating apps and tried to do things and they failed, failure after failure after failure. They weren't the woman that you thought they were, and you weren't the man that they thought you were. So you go. It's this consistent thing of they ghost you, you're ghosting women, and you stop talking to women, they stop talking to you. So it's just, and it could be draining. It could be draining, and can lead you to be a little pessimistic about things. So keep your hope there. There's somebody there for you. There's somebody that, fits what you want, maybe slim down your preferences or slim down the boxes that this woman needs to check or this man needs to check. And, give it some time. But yeah, if you're out there, you watching this, you are not alone. You're struggling with dating, you are not alone. I'm with you. I'm in the same boat. But I thank y'all for checking out this video. I'm gonna have more content on the way per usual. I'll catch y'all in the next one. I'm out.